everyone. I was just listening to the music. I always do that. I hear that song so many times. Obviously, I've heard it like 102 times because this is episode 102, and I never get old, like tired of it. Like I'm actually like really happy I found that song, and yeah, that's the intro. So what's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's doing really well. Just really quick. So we are gonna have interviews. I have like three people I'm gonna interview. It's just that we're trying to find Thursdays that match up and Thursdays that don't. And so we may actually end up just doing some premieres because I really want to tell their gaming journey. But with that said, what have I been playing recently? So I jumped back into Zao, Tales of Kanzara, and it's actually a pretty cool game. It's a Metroidvania. If y'all haven't seen it, it's pretty cool. It's coming from EA Originals, and yeah, I'm in I think the third chapter. So I went back to that. Um, and I am playing a lot of X Defiant. Well, not as much. So not if you had asked me last week at this time, I would have been like, I'm playing a lot, and I'm not, and I'm still playing a lot, but just not as much. I'm very cognizant that I don't want to get burned out of the game. It's a super fun game, but I don't want to do what a lot of other people have done and burn themselves out of the game. We may be talking about X Define in this analysis today, so we're gonna go deep. She didn't ask if we can hear or see her. Yeah, I didn't. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Say on she is live. I am, Jeff. I made it on time. Um, so yeah, so I have been playing a little bit of X Defiant, and actually, that is actually a really interesting community. So there's like console wars, like Xbox versus PlayStation versus PC. Shout out to Doc Dark at 195. He's dealing with a lot of that right now. But there is also I didn't realize this. There are like first person shooter wars. Like, and I don't just mean like in the game where they're shooting each other. There are like literally people who hate certain first person shooters and they will play the other first person shooter just because. I did not know this. It's another world I'm interested I'm learning about. But as I've been watching a lot of X Defiant content, that's what I've come across, as well as the people in those Discord, as Reddit's it's whole thing. We may talk about it here in a second. Then you will love Mecha Break and Delta Force Hawk Ops. Someone told me about Delta Force Hawk Ops. I haven't heard about Mecha Break though. Is Mecha Break the 3x3 one that just released? We'll see. I don't know. I like X Defiant because it's like a hero shooter. So if it doesn't have that, I don't know, Jeff. But with that said, all right. So yeah, there's been so much good news, like good news, and what I mean by that, exciting news in the world of gaming. We're going to be hitting on some cool trailers, some Stadia favorites out there, and also we're going to be talking a little like kind of going deep. I like to talk about business. I like to talk about current events. I like to give my opinion on what's going on. I specifically have not jumped on anybody's show. Shout out to Jeff Janek, told me never to go on people's show to tell about my thoughts. And so I didn't. And I've been trying to wait for the right time. And I think right now is a pretty good time to kind of like lay how all this lays out. And as you can see from the title, I don't remember what I titled this, but it was something like Wukong and something about like, is it good or bad? I can't remember. Gemini helped me with it, but we're going to be talking about that. But first, there are some cool games that were recently announced, and because y'all know I like certain ones, I wanted to put that out. I wanted to put them out there just so everybody can see what we're playing, what I probably will start playing. So, without further ado, blast from the past, and I'm glad we have some of the people in chat because they will definitely know what this one is. Oh, look at me. I'm like looking all over. There it is. Like where does it go? It's like underneath the computer. But here it is. Let me hope you all enjoy this one because I know there's a lot of people in the community who are looking forward to it. All right.
They hurt you pretty bad, didn't they? I haven't seen you this scarred since last September.
Come on, move it! Get out of my way, jerk!
Maybe I overreacted a bit too much. But we'll get you sorted out.
Come on! Move it! Get the f out of my way! God damn it, now what? Yeah, that's right. You messed with the wrong guy, buddy.
Next time, I promise not to lose my temper.
Come on! Move it! God damn amateur! Out of the way! Stop driving like my grandma! She's 6 feet under! M-O-V-E! Move it! You take that piece of throw it up your... Oh, feels like something came out between the seat! Oh.
PlayStation.
That is Wreckfest 2. So shout out to Jeff Janak and the rest of those his crew who would play Wreckfest. I think it was on Mondays. I joined a couple of times. You know, you had SBG, you had Miss Sierra Rose, Ray. Who else? It was a whole crew of them, and shout out to them. Anytime I think of Wreckfest, I think of that time because they just, if you're into Wreckfest, uh, definitely go check out Jeff Janek's channel because that's what they do on Mondays. It's super. It's not really a race. It's just they bang each other's cars up. I've joined it, like I said, a few times. I got destroyed because they play a lot and they're really good. So I think Jeff Janek takes the school bus and a few others do lawnmowers. It's a great time. So I'm interested to see how this one pans out. Y'all know I'm a huge fan of THQ Nordic. Despite other people, I wasn't, I was actually a fan of Embracer Group, the parent company. But yeah, still a fan of THQ, still a fan of Nordic. And now that they're together, THQ Nordic, I'm still a fan. So that is coming from them. But that wasn't the only thing that was teased. There was, hey, Squiz, I was actually watching you game. Like, I woke up super late last night because I went to bed early, and you were live. It was either yesterday or 2 days ago. So shout out to Squids. What's going on? Just talking about a couple of game Squids here and there. So with that said, so that is Wreckfest. But there's a lot of games I want to showcase like that I think are exciting. And here's another one that y'all know. Like this one, I'm actually super. Uh-oh, where'd it go? There it is. I'm actually really excited about this. It doesn't even have a name. That's how excited I am. But here we go. And I'll talk to you about why I'm really excited about it.
They're coming.
Tarsier Studios. All right. So that game has no name, right? It just has super awesome art and stuff. Well, I think it's super awesome art. If you know anything about me, there's a certain series that I am so excited about that comes out next year, the third installment, and that's Little Nightmares. So, what does Little Nightmares have to do with this game? You're like, Purple, they didn't say Little Nightmares, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you have heard me say anything, one of the things I am super nervous about with Little Nightmares is the fact that Supermassive is actually developing the game. this time around for the third installment. However, the DLC for the first and the second Little Nightmares were all done by Tarsier Studios. Tarsier Studios, yes, that's the studio that's going to be showcasing a game at Gamescom just in like 2 weeks, a week and a half from now. And I could not be more excited than this just because I love Tarsier. I love Little Nightmares, but I think a lot of what I like about Little Nightmares is how Tarsier Studios did it, whether it's the art style, whether it's the interpretation. Like I could probably do an entire video series on Little Nightmares. Probably might do that if I get enough time in this fall slash winter. But yeah, and so seeing that, I was just super excited because if you Tarsier was actually bought by Embracer. Obviously, Embracer is breaking up, and so that I'm glad that THQ is still holding it. And if you saw down there, it's also Amplifier is part of it. So glad to see that all these great companies are still trying to make it. Obviously, it didn't work out underneath Embracer's umbrella, but Embracer did allow them to like kind of break off into three different allow them Embracer's strategies to break off into three different entities. And it's glad to see that there's still like quality that's going to be coming out from there. So super excited. Hey, and what's going on, Lens of Truth? Oh, you're another a Little Nightmares fan. Yeah, I'm a huge Little Nightmares fan. I actually want to get a Little Nightmares poster back there, but waiting on that. Um, so yeah, so I'm excited. I hope you all are excited about it. More to come. Obviously, the 20th is going to probably be, I don't know. I think that's like a Monday, Sunday. It's something. It's not a Thursday. I will be covering it that Thursday, whatever they say. There's another thing that's coming out during Gamescom as well that I'm probably even more excited about than that. And I know you're like, Purple, what could you be more excited about than Little Nightmares in 2025? And I'm going to tell you what I'm more excited about than Little Nightmares in 2025 in just a little bit. But with that, I can't like reveal all the trailer, all the really good ones up front. I have to like kind of sandbag a little bit, try to spread them out. So here's another one. This is an installment to a franchise that I streamed roughly 2 years ago. Still back in the Stadia days, I streamed this one. And so if you're a fan of like teddy bears and amusement parks and running around, you might find this one interesting. I definitely enjoyed the game. I haven't watched the movie yet, so maybe you know what this is, maybe not. But here it is.
Welcome to Pretty Fazbear's Pizza, a massive place for kids and grown-ups alike, where fantasy and fun combine.
Wow. So that's not the really exciting one I'm looking forward to, but that is a game coming out. And I wanted to show it. So it's Friday Nights at Freddy. I just realized it said go check out at jeffspizza.com. I've seen that trailer like a few times now. I just realized it said to go find out more, go to jeffspizza.com. I thought that was cool because Jeff's in the chat and Jeff likes pizza. I don't know. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy. And I will be also bringing up Five Nights at Freddy later on in my analysis, my deep dive, because I think what they did there is like pretty unique. Um, as if you think about it, when it first came out, fairly indie game, and what they've been able to just expand in that universe, which were kind of the same source material, and it has a movie now, which by the way, the movie did really well comparatively how much they put into it. And now they're doing this side scroller game, which is probably like an introduction to the other game. I don't know. I don't know how it all fits in. Okay. They actually have a ripoff of Five Nights at Freddy, but it's another movie that has to deal with an amusement park, like automated evil things running around. I can't think of it right now, but there's another one that's like a ripoff. So I thought that was like interesting that like Five Nights at Freddy's, they're still expanding that game. They're like bringing in different audiences. That's why I showcased it. Jeffy's Pizza. Is it Jeffy's Pizza? Your nephew loves it, Rouster. Yeah, it's a huge deal. Like I have not seen. Like I think the movie's actually on Netflix right now. Like, there's a couple of things. Ghostbusters: The Frozen Empire is also on Netflix, so, if you haven't caught that, definitely check that out. I don't know, got sidetracked, like, woo. I gotta do my Ghostbusters shout out, right? Like my half of my setup is Ghostbusters. So, yeah, that's Five Nights at Freddy. Um, Side scroller, like, again, just expanding that universe. I'm super excited for them. Uh might pick it up. We'll see. We'll see how it does. Like if it has an interesting story, or if you're just running away. I know what you're thinking. You're like purple. None of them are interesting stories, but hush you. Some of them are. Willy's Wonderland with Nick Cage was pretty. Was it Willy's Wonderland? Yeah, it's like a ripoff, right? I didn't make that up. Like I thought it had a big time actor like Nicolas Cage. I know Nicolas Cage isn't the biggest time actor, but I liked Pig. All right, enough of that. All right, now let me talk about some more games. Let me make sure because I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole. Okay, I think it's time for me to show what I think is probably the most excited I've been about something all year when it comes to a game. The most excited. All right. And that's big. That's big because I might show something else here that's pretty exciting as well. But this is the most excited I've been about anything. Okay, here we go. Yes, you heard that right. They said horsemen. So obviously, we're talking Darksiders here. We're talking potentially Darksiders 4. I'm going to tell you why I'm like tempering my expectations until I see more. But Darksiders 4, it's happening. I hope so. Watch it be something like so let like I could watch that trailer again. I've seen it several times. Um the art style, like, it leans itself to be more like Darksider Genesis, which I actually like Darksider Genesis. I know it's more like this twin stick shooter. It's meant to do co-op. Don't tell Cowboy because he knows he wants me to play with them. I told him I would play with them and I need to play with them. But I like Genesis. I like all the Darksiders, right? Darksiders 2 is obviously the best, but I like all of them. And I to see this game get another installment. That's such a huge thing. But what I think is really cool is they said horsemen. So we're not talking about multiple, right? Like the Genesis, which was like two, which was war and strife. And they said horsemen, not horsewoman. So we're not talking about fury. So really the only one we could be talking about here, actually, no, we could be talking about two others, but the one we're going to be talking about is strife, right? And strife is like the cool one, has like an amazing, like he's actually in two of the games. But no spoilers. I don't want to ruin it if you haven't seen it. It's a really excited like with what they've done with that source material, just bringing it back. If you haven't played them, obviously they're like action adventures slash hack and slash. Each of them are a little bit different. Like the first one's probably more hack and slash. The second one, I actually would say is closest thing you'll do to like a Zelda hack and slash. There's puzzles, there's hack and slash. It's cool. It's my favorite. The third one, some say it's like Soulsy. I wouldn't say that from a difficulty level, even though one of the hardest bosses I've ever fought is in that game called Gluttony. But I would say it's soulsy from the fact that it's like the movement, like you have a whip and you have these flips, and it's not like as fluid. But I think that's part of the appeal. And then obviously you have the twin stick shooter of Genesis top down, which a lot of people don't like. Simpleton, if he's out there, does not like it. Yeah, he doesn't. I see it. The producers are there making it. So yes. So yeah. So I do want to talk about the developers. Now, Gunfire Games. What do I love about some Gunfire Games? Gunfire Games has my game of the year for 2023, which is Remnant 2. They also did Remnant 1, but we're going to talk about Remnant 2 right now. And what I've always said about Remnant 2 is the world that Remnant 2 takes place in looks like it could be for Darksiders. Like it's kind of the post-apocalyptic. There's like things in space. There's like other dimensions. It's kind of crazy. Uh and I could totally see them reusing some of those assets. I wouldn't be mad because I like the story. I like that world. I love Remnant. And I'm really excited. So for Simpleton, you're exactly right. People who did Darksiders 3, the one featuring Fury, are also doing this one. They're known for shooters. Like, so could you imagine if we get like a Strife and it's kind of similar to like Remnant? Mind's blown. Uh Allyship Syndicate, they were the ones who did the top down. They're not doing this one. I like obviously August 20th, Gamescom. I've actually asked my work if they can send me to Gamescom for this. You know, I don't do the gaming industry as much in my job. But I actually haven't initially I was like, no, I'm good with traveling. I don't need to go to Germany. But now it's like two different games. And I would love to just be in the reveal and talk to some of the studios, maybe even do an interview. I don't know. We'll see if we can make it happen. But yeah, I am just ecstatic about Darksiders. I can't tell you enough. Like for me, getting a little nightmares that I'm hesitant about, right? I love little nightmares, but I'm hesitant, right? But I'm glad to jump into that. Uh, then you see Tarsier Studios doing something unique, which is like obviously the makers of Little Nightmares. And then you get into some Darksiders 4 potentially, right? Like, because if they say Darksiders 4 on August 20th, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I'm really excited. Um, Hey, Fast, wait, how'd it go? Like, y'all, if y'all haven't checked out Fast, Fast is, I just want to say hello. Fast, Fast is our August Fall Guys champion. Well, congratulations again, Fast. But yeah, uh, thank you, Fast. It's not a new one. I just think I took some time with my settings. But yeah, so Darksiders, super excited. All of it, I'm super excited. And if you haven't read between the lines, like all of these developers who are doing something are kind of smaller studios, right? Smaller, like aka indie, if we're talking about um Gunfire Games. Started off as indie, still maintain a lot of their independence since Embracer broke off. Tarsier Studios, right? And, you know, Little Nightmares is obviously being done by Supermassive. You got Wreckfest. You got a lot of these like smaller games that really were able to like break out from actually let me say this. They're not necessarily smaller, but they started off as kind of like just different. Like there's not really other games like them out there. And I think that's really unique. Like there was a time, and it just so happens that all these are franchises that really kind of took off in the early aughts, right? Like Darksiders, I think that's 2010, if I'm not mistaken, when that one came out. Little Nightmares, maybe not as early, but the concept was definitely there earlier. So the concept was really there in 2008, but it didn't really break out until closer to like the mid 20 teens. Um, Wreckfest, obviously, it's a little different than like I said, it's cars banging up against cars. So I just think that's all super cool. It all came into gaming where there was like kind of this, I don't want to say a low barrier to entry because obviously this is if you can think about it's like the Xbox 360, PS3 era. But some people see that that is like the golden time of gaming. And I'm not gonna agree, like argue for or against that. What I am going to say is that I think a lot of really great IP came out during this time, right? We saw PlayStation putting out a lot of awesome IP during that time. We saw Xbox putting out a lot of awesome IP. We saw certain Nintendo series being revitalized during this time. And then we saw third party games actually getting their foothold. This is like before Activision Blizzard was like this huge behemoth. Don't get me wrong, Call of Duty was still growing and definitely reached out. But when I remember Call of Duty, it was like World War II, like, it's like 2004. 2K. This is probably what Jeff would say. Like Madden was like something, you know. I don't think that's a coincidence, right? And I don't think now, as it uh, isn't necessarily a coincidence. And what do you mean? Like, what is the present state of gaming? And what I would say is the present state of gaming, y'all, is I'm actually pretty worried about this. Even though I'm super excited about all these different games and everything that are coming out, I'm not gonna lie and say I'm super optimistic about where gaming is going. So you're like, oh no, it's doom and gloom. No, 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 not necessarily doom and gloom, but there are some warning signs and concerns. And what I mean by that is this. So I'm gonna put up a picture, and kudos to anyone who can tell me what the similarity is with this picture. All right. All right. Kudos if you can figure it out. If you can't, uh, don't worry, I'll tell you in a little bit. So here's the picture. All right. So for everybody who's catching this on the podcast, I just had to say that. I don't actually think anybody watches this or listens to this on podcast. But anyway, what I'm showing is a picture of IGN, a logo of IGN, a logo of Humble, a logo of Dicebreaker, Digital Foundry, Rock Paper Shotgun, Hookshot, GamesIndustry.biz, Eurogamer, VG247. Let me know if you can tell. And if you wanted to, I could also put something up here that says CNET. That should give you a big, big indicator of what I am talking about right now. Again, 9 different companies on this slide. There's actually 10 that I could add. I just could not get an updated picture. But there's something that like really unites all these companies, all these brands, if you will. And if you said gaming, you are correct. It is gaming. And these are some pretty big ones, right? Digital Foundry. I obviously am a big fan of GameIndustry.biz. IGN, obviously, IGN is always breaking news and stuff. I kind of mentioned this not too long ago. Eurogamers also broke some pretty good news in the past. But let me take this down. News publications, great, great. You are right, David Wilson. You are right. But on top of they are all IGN, close. They are close to all being IGN. Um, you're getting around it. You're getting around it. They were all acquired by a company called Ziff Davis. Okay, nothing against Ziff Davis. They've been around for a while, but consolidation. Right? Consolidation not only in the games industry, but consolidation in the games publication industry, right? The games media industry. So, had this been like the case for like bigger publications like New York Times and the Washington Post, like this would have been like blocked. It would have been anti-competitive, monopoly. You can't get your fair news whatsoever, but it's gaming. And for some reason, the grown-ups, and what I mean by the grown-ups are the courts, like, don't treat gaming like the behemoth it is, like the juggernaut of money it is. I don't understand it. To save my life. Probably to save my life, I could understand it, but I'm saying that because it's that important to me. But anyway, how do you spell that? Spell what? Save my life? That's not good. Hey, Bliss, what's going on? It's genuinely great for customers. Exactly, Rouster. And so I mentioned this a few weeks ago, but I think like right now with the acquisition of CNET, like these are not like we've heard of these, right? We've heard of Digital Foundry, we've heard of Game Biz, we've heard of CNET, we've heard of IGN, right? And at one time, all these were independent different brands. They took different lenses. Like if I ask you about Digital Foundry, you know you're going to talk about tech specs. If I ask you about GameIndustry.biz, if you're me, you're going to be talking about business. If I ask you about IGN, it's going to be like sensationalism, right? If I ask you about Eurogamer, it's going to be talking about how it affects the games industry in Europe. If I ask you about CNET, you understand that it's going to be giving you like this PC angle around gaming. Like these all have significant brands, and then there's even more on there. And Ziff Davis, Z-I-F-F Davis, D-A-V-I-S, Ziff Davis. And so, but why? Like, right? The whole you're like purple. The whole industry is consolidating. What's the problem with this? And I think Rouser hit it on the top of the head here. Consolidation usually does not benefit the consumer. All right. And this is how this will kind of play out. If you have more titles that are now under one umbrella, you don't necessarily have as many different opinions and viewpoints, right? These publications most likely are not going to criticize each other now. As where before, there was competition. They were all trying to break the story. Now, that's not. If anything, what we see with consolidation in media companies is they try to push a certain angle. Now, I want you to hold on to that thought. All right. That's a certain thought. There's another thought that we've also talked about in gaming, though. And I've heard this before from a lot of different people. This is mostly one that comes from around when we talked about $70 games. This is one that talks about console wars. This is one that talks about PC and the price of PCs and gaming PCs, the price of gaming. And there's something in the gaming community that's always, we've known to a degree, but at the same time, we've not really talked about it in this way. And that is gaming, it's a luxury, right? If you think about it, to have the freedom to game, to spend money to game just for your enjoyment, that's a luxury. Well, guess what's starting to happen? The gaming industry as a whole is starting to treat gaming as a luxury good. Okay. Now, there's a couple of different publications out there that you can read about this that it doesn't get as much attention because we're like, oh, yeah, it's a luxury. We think of it as like a luxury, like that we have this time to do it. Like we talk about, but we don't talk about like a luxury good. We don't talk about it like we would talk about, like, I don't know, Gucci or Burberry or Christian Louboutin or one of these fancy luxury clothing brands. We don't talk about it like we talk necessarily about Mercedes or any other Porsche, or I guess that Porsche is more of a sports car, but you know, your luxury car brands, or we talk about luxury watches, right? We don't talk about it necessarily like that. We talk about it like I have the luxury to go do something. Well, here's the thing. When you start talking about luxury goods, like what I just spoke about, like tangible luxury goods, what does that actually mean? Well, what that actually means is like it's expensive. Okay. Let me just put that out there. Luxury goods usually means expensive. Doesn't always mean the best quality, right? If you don't believe me, go look at Gucci. Like Gucci used to be awesome, but now it's not anymore. There's a lot of luxury clothing that we look at, Like as a woman, I see so many things that I'm like, why would I wear that? That's ugly. But it's luxury and they sell it at a ton of a price, like super high, right? But it's luxury. So of course, like we don't argue about the price, right? It makes waves in the United States when we talk about basic um when we talk about the rising price of inflation and we talk about the price of eggs, bro, eggs aren't a luxury. But you want to know what are a luxury? Like organic eggs. But no one talks about organic eggs, right? We don't talk about like, the price of wearing like a shirt. They're not talking about some like Versace shirt. They're talking about a plain white shirt, even though it looks like the Versace shirt. No one's saying, like, hey, that plain white Versace shirt that's like $500. Oh my goodness, inflation. No, they talk about the one that you can get at the discount store. Why do I bring this up now? Okay. Because, and we already have seen this, and I already told y'all why this was this was going to happen. Because the price of gaming is going to continue to rise. And it's not going to be because of inflation. I know a lot of people like to say the boogeyman inflation. But in truth, it's going to rise because they're treating it like a luxury good. They're treating it because they understand that certain consumers have a willingness to spend that is very, very high. All right. And so what's starting to happen is now like gaming, the thing that we all have grown up and loved and that we continue to do into our adulthood and to our older years, that is now starting to become less and less accessible as the price goes up. And it's happening quite like at an alarming rate, right? So what I mean by that is not too long ago, you could buy a system in a game and that was it. That's it, end of sale, right? Now most games, not most games, but many games have this season pass. I now know what a season pass is. Thank you, Crow. Thank you, Rouster. Thank you, Jeff. I know what a season pass is. And you buy the season pass, like you can buy the base game, but you can get the season pass, and that allows you to now like up level your character and do more things. And now that's called like a tailwind. Like that actually has a price, right? You have to pay for online to play online. That used to not always be the case. And I hear you PC gamers are like, it's blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to get to that in a second. You're actually paying for the price in your PC. All right. So your console, your traditional console gamer no longer has like they are starting to be priced out of the market. I hear what you're saying. You're like, but purple, like the price of consoles, there's pretty good. The Series S. At the moment, if you're in the United States, you're correct. The Series S has not went up in price. But if you don't recall, or if you don't remember, please recall that a little over a year ago, Microsoft raised the price of their consoles between 15 and 20% across the board. Actually, in Japan, they just raised the price of the Series S by 17%. The Series S is now equivalent to about $450 in Japan. Okay? That's like twice as much as some of us paid for the Series S here in the United States. I haven't even gotten to the Series X. But you're like, oh, purple. That's okay. That's okay because we're getting great value. Are you getting great value? I'm going to ask you that. Are you getting great value? And I don't mean to pick on Microsoft right now. Like, trust me, I don't think this is anybody at Xbox's fault. I just think it's corporate 101. It's making business. It's making it happen. It's like what they get paid to do. But it illustrates my point so well. Xbox, you see, has at one time gave us mini games throughout from an annual basis. They promised us mini games. They said you're going to get mini games. Right now, Xbox is only really giving you one game the entire year. That's Hellblade 2. Now, you already know what I think of Hellblade 2. Like, beautiful game, but super boring, super short. But yet they've told you that, hey, this is how we're going to bring you games, and we're giving you this buffet of games, and to go ahead, buy it on, get our subscription service, which, by the way, just rose up again in price not too long ago. We didn't really talk about it too much, but, it's something we predicted on the show. It rose in price. So now we have the price of gaming's rising, the consoles rising. Oh, by the way, you need an internet connection really to play some of these games. So you're paying a lot on that end. And even if you don't want to play with your friends, you got to pay like at least some subscription to play with your friends on console. And make no doubt about it, console is considered probably the more affordable of the gaming different, like the gaming things. Like a PC and console is generally more affordable. So you're like, okay, Purple, fine. Don't do that. Go to PC. All right, sure. Well, the console, as Rouster said, he paid $250. Please show me the gaming PC that's going to cost $250. You want to know it? You're not going to get it. And I hear some of y'all out there also saying, well, that's okay, Purple, because you can get a laptop that can do cloud gaming. Shout out to cloud gaming, right? But yeah, how much is GFN? How much is the internet to get GFN or Boosteroid to run? And then on top of that, you still have to buy the game, right? Right? It's like a subscription onto another subscription. If you think about that, your internet connection subscription on top of your GFN subscription, on top of your game, in which, if you believe what Microsoft says, is they want you on Game Pass, which is on top of another subscription. Before you start even adding it, when you add all that up, just to game, potentially in the future, based upon what we've already heard, is a solid internet connection. So we're going to put that up around $75. Some of y'all would say it's 100, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. 75. Then you're sitting that if I wanted GFN or something, that's another 20. So now I'm at $95. And then if I wanted Game Pass on top of that, that's another 20. You're now getting up to $115 to game. That's for 1 month. Now I get it. You're like doom and gloom, Purple. I don't know about that. That's not what it's like today. I know it's not like that today, but you can see right now what I just explained is a possibility. That possibility did not exist 10 years ago. Right? And no one's talking about this, right? Because before you had a lot of independent journalists who would go out and say, let's criticize the price, the gaming prices going up. But you want to know what? When you are a luxury good, media outlets don't criticize it because media outlets are like, that's a luxury good. We don't talk about how much I have to pay for my Salvador Ferragamo heels, even though that they've went up $200 in price over the last 6 years. They don't talk about that because it's a luxury good. This is the problem. Right? And so people are like, well, hey, Purple, I can just go get a PC. Well, I told you, fine. Tell me how much it costs you to get the PC. The price now is going to the consumer. They want you to go ahead and buy your hardware because it's a luxury good, right? So you go buy your luxury hardware to go get your luxury subscription so you can play your luxury game, which I already told you they're starting to deliver less for more. But no one talks about it like this. Everybody, in so many of y'all in chat, I've talked to one-on-one. I've heard y'all in other chat, and you say you're not excited about gaming. There's nothing new. That isn't by coincidence. You see, when you start rising things up, and now you start seeing this, all these companies come together, consolidation of luxury goods. Guess what they start doing? They don't innovate, right? They don't. What they do is they go with the safe play. So if only there was evidence to show that some of the biggest production in games right now are actually safe bets and just wash and repeat games that we've already played. If that was only a thing. Well, it kind of is. Jeff's favorite game, Madden. Wash and repeat? I don't know. You tell me. What about this big acquisition that happened last year? Call of Duty. Wash and repeat? 2K. Wash and repeat? FIFA / whatever they call it now. Wash and repeat? You're starting to see this trend. The top selling games out there are actually wash and repeat. And these are actually the games because they know everybody's going to buy it and they know that all they're going to get all the clicks. Guess what the media companies that we already said are consolidating, guess what they're going to talk about? Wash and repeat. So now that we see consolidation has done a couple things. Raise the barrier to entry to actually get into gaming. You're spending more. Watch and repeat. You're not getting innovation from the games. And then you're not even getting scrutiny of these games. But if only there was one thing that potentially would even set this off even further, right? Like, because games are getting built, right? So if only there was like one thing to kind of even complicate this whole thing again. Like, if there's only one locale, if you will, that creates things that just flood the market and just distorts what is really valuable. If only one thing. And here is where I'm going to show something I'm super excited about, but at the same time, super scared about. All right. Without further ado, an amazing trailer that's night. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Can y'all hear me? That wasn't supposed to happen. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Uh-oh, that's not good. That's not good. Hold on, let's see. Y'all can't see what I'm looking at. Here we are. I got it. I got this one. Wukong took part. Can't hear or see. You can't hear me or see me? Still can't hear me? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. No, you should hear me. Can't hear. Try that, Bliss. No sound. Well, how's it? Wait, can y'all not hear me? This is no good. This is. Can you hear me? Uh, maybe good. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's a different camera. Good thing. Like, I randomly had a different camera sitting on my desk. But yeah, no, thanks, David Wilson, for coming. But yeah, so that's Black Myth Wukong. So why am I both super excited about it? I'm super excited about it because I believe that I've said this before. It's going to have a lot of Chinese Eastern mythology in it. I'm really excited to see that. I think it's really pretty. It's the type of game I would like where it's like a single player, like hack and slash. Like you go through, you fight bosses, you hear a story. What I really like about this trailer is it shows a lot of the story that's going to be told. Like beforehand, we were only seeing like a lot of action sequences, but if you actually watch that trailer, there's like a lot of story, like so a ton that's going to come out. I'm really excited about it. I'm actually so confident about how the game industry is going that I'm going to call it right now. Black Myth Wukong is going to probably win Game of the Year. And here's the reason why. It has nothing to do about like, oh, like should it be Hellblade? Should it be Final Fantasy? Should it be Stellar Blade or any other? Sure, it could be all of them. Game of the Year does not really matter. If you like the game, play it. Okay. That is your game of the year. Like I said, I have my own game of the years, and that's all that matters to me. But with Black Myth Wukong, the reason why I believe it's going to be game of the year is simple. It's because there's so much money involved. Black Myth Wukong, if you did not know, is being developed by a Chinese developer. Nothing wrong with that. I'm actually super happy for them. They're actually a former mobile developer that are now bleeding, that they're now trying to go into the AAA market. But the thing about that is, I believe that they're going to make this game such a big deal that you're going to have other Chinese companies, other potential Chinese entrepreneurs, everybody who can get their hands on a game engine developing games. And what are they going to do? They're going to make all sorts of cinematic trailers that look beautiful. And unfortunately, most of them will not play beautifully. This is what happens everywhere. It's like a different form of, I don't know, like just any other company. Just or any other industry, just flood the market with low quality. Therefore, what sticks out? The high quality, right? And because it's high quality, because they flooded the market with all this low quality stuff. And if you play in the mobile market, if you play mobile games, you already know about this. You can flood the market with all this low quality stuff. So there's only a few titles that actually stick out. And to actually play those titles, actually win those titles, you have like pay to play, You have different types of little power ups and game purchases. You have a ton of stuff that you're going to be gravitated towards because they already know the psyche of the gamer. This is the only thing that needs to happen in AAA gaming. It actually already is happening in the PC market, but it's about to start happening at a very high rate across all of gaming. You're going to get a flood of low quality games and only going to get a few high quality games. And that's why I bring out what I talked to you about before, right? With the consolidation of the media. Because who's the media going to pick up on? Well, you're going to hear a ton about this low quality, and they're going to say, "Well, here's a high quality game from one of the chosen companies we've had. Look at this high quality game. It's wash, rinse, and repeat." Or look at this high quality game. It's really pretty, but it doesn't play that great, right? And no one's going to push back on it. Because why? It's a luxury good. And then on top of that, because they're now showing you this high quality game in this sea of low quality mess, they're going to charge you more. That's why I'm kind of scared about Black Myth Wukong. Has nothing to do about the game. Has everything to do about the industry. We've seen this coming for some time now. It seems like we continue to slowly watch the pastime that we love gradually become the chore we want to try to avoid as much as possible. We've already seen it. We already seen some games. The games come out with bugs. Okay, well that's how the industry goes. Hey, I paid for this season pass, but it doesn't actually answer my what I want. Okay, well wait for the next season. Literally, the NBA has seasons, but 2K charges you the same amount per game every year. Cosmetic purchases. Look, I'm guilty of this. I buy Ghostbuster cosmetics for 20 something dollars for a free to play game in Fall Guys. Is that really worth 20 something dollars? Is that because it's the only thing I can really play? The industry as we see it has been consolidating for some time. However, it's only been recently that we've had the recipes to truly create the mess that's about to happen, right? And the more I hear about people who are like, well, we want to be a subscription service. We don't want you to actually play on the hardware that we provide. We want you to buy the hardware that you provide. And we're going to tell you, you can do it any way you want to do it. Lo and behold, GPUs, are they falling in prices? I think not. We actually just heard NVIDIA say that they're going to be cutting output. Great, smart move, NVIDIA. Even though it's like the most rich company in the world right now. Maybe they kind of dropped a little bit. But great move. Let me go buy a GPU. To play that game I just showed you, Black Myth Wukong, the requirements are ridiculous. If you want to play it at the same level you could play at a console. Cyberpunk, same deal. And that's just the GPU. I'm not talking about the CPU. I'm not talking about the cooler. I'm not talking about the motherboard. I'm not even talking about like if you had to replace that because you already bought the thing that you needed for Cyberpunk. This is what a luxury good is. So next time you hear someone say, hey, gaming, you should be okay with the price of it. It's a luxury good. Next time you hear that, realize what exactly people are saying. Because it's already hook, line, and sinker. That's a fishing analogy, y'all. I just want to throw that out there. But yeah, that's gaming. That's where we are. So to sum it all up, consolidation on one end. Wash, rinse, and repeat on another end. And if it's not wash, rinse, and repeat, it's like, look, flashy thing. You should like flashy thing. Hellblade 2. But no one's pushing back. It took someone like me taking a lot, like having played the game, and virtually every Hellblade fan I know played the game and said something was missing here. No, no, show me the media outlet that criticized that game like I did. Show me. I didn't say it was a bad game, but show me the media outlet that criticized it. Now think about all the other games that aren't even as good as that one. So yeah, wash, rinse, and repeat. Publishers. So we have media outlets, we have publishers, and now all we need is what? That last thing to just flood the market. So the only thing you can see are these big flashy things. Black Myth Wukong. That's why Black Myth Wukong's gonna win. Like I if it doesn't win, you can be like, Purple, it didn't win. I'm gonna do the show at Lo-Fi like I always do, and we're gonna see it together. But I'm just telling you, it's in the cards. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't win. Because it makes too much sense. It makes too much money for the people who are trying to make this a luxury good enterprise. But that's it, y'all. That's my talk. I forget what I titled it, but hopefully I did the title well for this episode. I'm gonna open up the lines. I got Mr. Urban World. Man, I've been missing y'all. If y'all had some questions for me, I said 75 and 700. That was the camera. That's when you pay my own camera. But if y'all wanna jump in here, let me know. I'm still gonna try to get my camera because I don't like this camera. I don't. I'm gonna try to get this one working somehow, some way. Somehow, some way. Bum, bum, bum. And happy birthday to Holtz. His birthday was not too long ago. Happy birthday, Holtz. So that's the link. If y'all want to jump in, if you want to push back, if you want to be like Purple, you're wrong. Severin, waiting for you. If you want to do that, Severin, let me know. If you're like Purple, you're picking on Xbox. Don't worry, I'm not. It's just it was easy for me to draw a line, but I could do it probably in 2 years with all of them. But we got a guess. We got a guess. Lo-Fi, what's going on?
Yo, first of all, I'm gonna say it's great being on MM2K's new show. How are y'all doing?
Oh my god, what do you mean? MM2K has a new show?
No, that's what you sounded like.
Oh really? No, that's
yeah, I was like, whoa.
That's a compliment. I would take that any day. MM2K's legend. Oh man.
That was good.
Was it? I don't know. I just I was a little passionate.
Yeah, I mean, here's the weird thing is like I've been feeling that way since the beginning. Like I've just been feeling that way about games. It's all rinse and repeat. The graphics get better year after year, but it's just the same, you know. And you know, some of the games, the mechanics have been fleshed out a little bit more, but it's more of this, just the same. And but recently, I've been messing around with the Unreal Engine a little bit, tinkering around, and it's kind of changed my perspective a bit because especially when it comes to like an indie developer, someone doing it by themselves, like versus like some studio. like I don't know. I imagine that Wukong that game's probably on Unreal Engine, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, Wukong is on Unreal Engine 5, and I agree. So I agree. I think there's a couple of forces, and I guess I maybe glossed over this part of it, and this is why I mentioned the golden age of gaming, because I agree, Lo-Fi. Indie developers, and I think it also, if I didn't mistaken, Lens of Truth that was in here saying indies where the innovation is happening. But what I'm afraid of is how do we find those indie games? If you have the mass media people who are going to focus on big and flashy,
yeah,
and you have a ton of low quality stuff coming out from everywhere, right? Because like I said, I believe Black Myth is going to hit the market. they're gonna make a big deal out of it, so they can get a ton of people who are gonna flush the market with indie games or with all sorts of games. How do you find the quality? How do you actually see what is worthy? If that's where I think the problem becomes. That's where the barrier entry to break through, and that's why I started the show off by talking about Darksiders, Little Nightmares, Breakfast, studios that I care about, franchises that I like, because these were franchises that were independent franchise. Like, studios were independent at one time, the franchises were new at one time, and they were able to penetrate
Yeah.
at a certain time in gaming. Do we think that indie developer in a few years will be able to penetrate, given that the barriers to entry are higher, given that we have less independent media outlets?
See, that's where
That's where we come in.
I'm not. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, I'm not like making my own game or anything with Unreal Engine, but what I've seen, the barrier to entry is like really low, really low. And from using that, it's like they give you the ability just to jump in and do AAA graphic stuff just with like day one, like as soon as you jump in and start learning. It's kind of insane. And like a lot of times I think developers before would have problems where like you're it's hard to take into account that, like, okay, I'm writing this game, and when it's done, it's going to go on Steam. Now I have to make a separate build for the Epic Game Store. I have to make another build that's for mobile, a different build that's for Xbox, another build that's, I've got all these separate builds of one game. And I think Unreal Engine started at least in 5. Now I see that they have this whole thing where like you can have all of those in one package, and it's like it's just becoming easier and easier with what they're doing. So I don't, but at the same time, it's like set up to just be like kind of rinse and repeat. Like, it's, you know, here's a character, put them in a world and run around, and there's no new ideas really. Yeah, but I mean, all the tools are there for somebody that's starting out. That if they got some imagination, some cool things can happen.
I think I think the tools are. I think for the indie developer who wants to make the game, I totally believe they can make it. Like, I think the barrier to entry to make a quality game is there.
Yeah, because I recently started playing Manor Lords, and it's on Game Pass, and it was made by a single guy, but it automatically, as soon as I started playing, I'm like, this is Unreal Engine.
Yeah, Banner Lords 2.
There's a Banner Lords 2?
Yeah.
No, Manor Lords.
Oh, Manor Lords. I thought you said Banner Lords.
Manor Lords. Yeah.
I don't know this game. I know Banner Lords.
Yeah, it's a really popular game right now.
So, Mountain Blade Bannerlord is the one I'm talking about. Mountain Blade Bannerlord. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord.
But I'm saying I used to stand on the side of what, like, really firmly like what you're saying, but like after I started tinkering around with Unreal Engine, I like it's kind of changed my mind a little bit. But I don't know how to feel. I'm a little like I don't know what to think about it.
I think it's similar to, so what I think is going to need to eventually happen, okay, is if you think about it, if we didn't have YouTube, okay, let's just go into a world where we don't have YouTube, we don't have Twitch, we don't have anything, and we wanted to put content out there. You know what I mean? Like, at one time to say like, yo, I want to broadcast something and I want everybody to see it. Like, how did you do that? You need it. Like,
you tie it to a bird's leg and throw it in the air and see
exactly. Or you go on America's Funniest Videos or something like that, right? Like, you do something crazy, but then
scream into a bottle, cork it, throw it.
Correct. But if you didn't have that and you just had that video site, right? Because there was that video site way back when. It's like, how do you find content? Well, you kind of had to know what the title was. You had to know, like, hey, what were your friends sending around? So, like, video games little different, right? Don't get me wrong. I think it's easier to make a video than make a video game. Not saying that. But if you do make it now to where there's hundreds, thousands of games, right? And just to put that in perspective, does anybody out there know how many games Steam launched last year? Steam. Not talking mobile, just talking Steam.
Oh, a lot. A
Like
whole
how many,
lot.
Lo-Fi? How many games?
Like, gotta be like thousands at least. Like, you
Yeah, I
know,
just want to make sure.
like hundreds of thousands, maybe even.
Right. So last year, Steam launched 14,500.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing: if you want to launch a game on Steam, you got $100.
Go ahead.
There you go.
So now let's let's flush the market. Let's now triple that number. Let's do 30,000. Let's do 40,000. And you're an indie game developer.
Yeah.
And out of that 30,000, you're almost guaranteed that 29,800 of them are indie developers. How do you stick out? How do you get people to play your game? How do you get people to do the innovative thing, to play the innovative thing you did?
You're gonna have to have some sort of media presence, some sort.
Yeah,
somehow.
you gotta have to spend a lot of money, right? Because
Yeah.
the media people that I just said, the conglomerate, like, right, the consolidation of them, they're going to go after bright, shiny thing. That is rinse, wash, and repeat. Why are they going to pick up your game?
Right.
That's why I'm saying that I'm not saying that there's not going to be quality games out there. I'm not even saying that there's not going to be innovation out there. What I'm saying is, how do you get the quality and innovation to the gamer? Because what I feel like is going to happen is that you're going to have a whole bunch of like companies and indie companies out there that say, oh, all we have to do is what? All we have to do is show this like pretty cinematic trailer. Now, let's not kid ourselves. The games industry has never done this, right? The game industry has never shown us a cinematic, amazing trailer, right? And then under-delivered. That's never happened, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I've never been lied to by the gaming industry for
Right.
sure.
So now, imagine thousands of companies saying, "Oh, let me create this cinematic trailer that I could probably do with AI in a few years," right? Like, let's be honest.
So if you couldn't do it today, you might, you might be able to do it right now.
Right. And and charge people for it. But people are like, "No, well, let's do Kickstarters." Okay, like I've never been lied to on a Kickstarter. I will remind the audience we are still waiting for Hollow Knight 2. I will remind the audience at this point. Right? Like this is what I'm saying. Like this is why I am kind of afraid about what's going to happen. Because I don't think we have the parameters of like a YouTube for gaming. Like I don't think we have that. What I actually think, if you remember, Lo-Fi, and I think you're an Android user, right? Are you iPhone?
Yeah. Android.
Okay, Android. Do you remember Android in like 2010?
Yeah.
Android 2010, you had like several different versions of the same app, the same game. Like,
yeah.
Some versions would work, some versions wouldn't work. And it was like the Wild Wild West. Like you're like, did I get the right version of Solitaire? Like that's what it was like. You had to get like the right game with the right phone. Now imagine that with gaming. Like the gaming that we know. Like at least back then with phones, we would be like, yeah, but before we had like the flip phone and the snake game. Because everybody had the snake game. All right. So you're like, okay, yeah, it's okay if it takes me a little while to find like Fruit Ninja or whatever the game is.
Sure.
But now we've actually experienced the golden age of gaming before. We've experienced like, yo, I had this thing where I could just get this and I could just play it on my TV and it was a cool game. I knew where to get it. There was like people who would criticize the game. I knew what was coming out. You're now going into a world, right? That's not going to be like that. And that's where I think the big difference is for me. I don't know, Loaf. I'm not trying. Like, I hear you though. Independent gamers will be able to make cool games. I'm not saying that. I just don't think when you do get that 20,000, 30,000 games coming out, I don't think you're going to get 20 to 30,000 cool games. Because all you got to do is look at the mobile market now.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. No, you're not. You're not.
Yeah. Like the mobile market now, the only games you find, like the mobile market is like dominated by like 10 to 20 games. But mobile gamers are kind of like used to it because that's all they've had. Like they've only had this thing where it's like, oh, Farmville.
Oh yeah, well, like any other game you play, it's just a reskin version of the game you're already playing. You know, like
that's what it is. But I think like us, the AAA gamers, there was a time where we had experienced new experiences, and so the question is like, I hear some people saying like, I'm waiting for this new experience. I'm waiting to get back into gaming, or I'm waiting for something to be new. Like Cowboy talks about this, right? Holtz talks about this sometimes. You know, I hear Crow talking about this with Diablo sometimes. They're always talking about like something new. And I'm wondering if potentially that something new's there, but how do we get it to you? Because I don't see the system. I don't see the industry trying to move towards that, right? I see the industry actually moving the opposite direction where they're going to be like, we're going to charge you more for less.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what I see. You know, I don't see like you could play. Like,
oh, wait till everything's AI. Wait till it's like all the NPCs. It's an infinite world full of NPCs. How much are you going to have to pay for that? Like, that's a thing.
Yeah. Okay. So Internet of Games made a great point. He said, okay, so why did you become a YouTuber? The community. No, but because you are way smaller boat on here, 14,800 uploads a second, but you still got found. I did. Because that YouTube was there. Who in gaming is YouTube?
Itch, maybe?
the AI one?
No, Itch.io?
Yeah, that's the AI one you sent me like a long time ago.
No. Itch is like it's like a indie game. It's like YouTube for little indie games.
Yeah, so you have thousands of games.
Yeah,
like YouTube has a vested interest to show me content that I would like, to find a community that would potentially tolerate my content, right? Like YouTube makes money off of that. They don't care about the content in Purple's video, right?
But they want to know how many times they can put ads on it.
Yeah, exactly. Which, by the way, if you did not know this, like ad subscription gaming services are coming. Like, right? Yeah. That's not an understatement or overstatement, however you want to look at it. Like, that's happening.
It's gonna look like pop of hell.
So again, like, we had YouTube for video. What do we have for gaming? Because I believe that this is coming a lot quicker than whatever YouTube for gaming is.
So when you say YouTube for gaming, like you click on a game and you play it right there, like, is that what you mean?
I would love
just
that.
how the algorithm works.
I mean, like, yo, like, hey, what is a great game for me to play? And YouTube's not even really good at this, right? YouTube shows Osmogod or whatever his name is. Like, he gets millions of people watching his stuff, and people don't even like that stuff. Like, that's not the only person out there.
I tell you what, I see a lot of the and y'all probably see this too in your feed is indie, like a lot of the indie guys will do devlogs, and if they get a lot of attention for their devlogs on YouTube, they'll build a Discord community or maybe a Patreon community around that, and then usually that's how they decide if it's worth continuing a project. They'll just, if they get funding and attention that way, and then I think that they hope that builds into something, you know, by the time they actually get to a point of releasing it on a platform.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not impossible.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I'm just saying I think that's the pathway.
That is a
lot of people take. Yeah, right. But as far as like some platform that's just obvious, I'm not sure if that exists.
Yeah, I like I said, I think we in the like YouTubers, people who are in it, shout out to angry what is angry poultry, you know, our resident game dev. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think there are pathways there, right? For devs.
Right.
And I think Lo-Fi, you're looking at it from the dev side of things. I'm looking at it from the gamer side of things.
Yeah, from the gamer side of things, most people probably just like, I'm bored, I'm watching live streams on YouTube. Is this what everybody's playing? Okay, this kind of looks interesting. They watch a couple games, and if it looks like it's worth playing or whatever at that point, then you get it. Then you
Yeah.
look at the price and you're like, I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, it's like that's what I say. I just think like that is but what we're talking about though is a future that is, and obviously this is an understatement. Futures are ambiguous. I get it. But we're talking about something that like right now, I think what I've laid out is a very clear path. Like we can definitely see how we were somewhere 15 years ago, somewhere 10 years ago, somewhere 5 years ago, and what probably in somewhere in next 5 years. Like that is the trend.
Yeah.
That gaming is becoming more expensive. Gaming is becoming less about unique experiences and stories we want to play. That there's consolidation, that there's less critical voices out there, and that there's more wash, rinse, and repeat. Like I think we can all agree that trend, there is nothing that is saying, you know what? Let's not continue down this road. Actually, if anything, they're furthering down that road. On top of that, they're saying, you know what? We don't want you to spend one time on the game. We want you to spend multiple times on the game. Actually, we want you to spend multiple times on the game that you never really own. That is like the actual Actually, we don't want you to spend multiple times on the game that you don't really own. We want you to spend multiple times on the game that you don't really own, on the entire hardware that you took the entire risk of buying and putting together
They
yourself.
want to be able to charge you for even thinking about playing that game.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're going to now start if they could, they would charge you for free demos.
Oh, I gotta reload. Let me watch this ad real quick.
Exactly. I mean, that's the pace. So when you put that world there with the world I just said about how to find the quality,
I paid $25 a month to watch an ad every time I reload. What's this?
And then you have like I said, how to find the quality game. Like these forces are like coming together to paint a world.
Yeah. Well.
Internet of Games is very futuristic. So, saturation drives innovation. Saturation drives innovation. Saturation drives innovation. Except for one thing. Right? There's 3 prongs I talked about. I talked about the games, right? I talked about the publishers, but there was one other thing Internet of Games I talked about. Talked about it being a luxury good, right? And the important thing about luxury goods are luxury goods don't innovate. See, what I feel like is going to happen is that innovation you're talking about isn't going to be able to hit the mass markets. Yes, is disruption possible? 100%. But the number one stakeholder, the number one party that hates disruption in a saturated market, consolidated market, in a market that there's only a few winners, the number one group that hates innovation or disruption are the incumbents that are actually winning in that market. And I believe it's going to be those incumbents that are up against the small innovative party. And that's why I say, how do we the only way that's going to happen is you have to get the gamers to touch the game and to champion that game. And that's what I'm saying. This whole scenario right now, it's not like this because it's it just happened like that. It's like this because that's the way they want it like that.
Yeah. It was
That's kind of where I'm going with this. But I'm not saying it's
Boom.
impossible. My message of hope is actually one of empowerment, which is like continue why I say what I say, like bringing this like full circle to my saying I didn't plan it this way, but I'm going to do it. I don't care where you play, how you play, when you play, what you play on, as long as you're playing or as long as you're gaming, you're good with me, right? That is the thing. Just game what you want to game, where you want to just continue to do that because that is actually the only like what I think is like the light in
It's
this
gonna
like
be the tagline of her book. Watch.
maybe we'll see. But you get what I'm saying? Like that is the thing. Like you have to figure out what it is that you really like and you need to play that. You need to show people that I like this. Like you need to show people I want these types of experiences. That
Yeah.
is kind of the thing that I think is going to be the guiding force.
I don't know how that happens for the so it's always just gonna be the corrupt.
No, I mean I'm not saying it's corrupt. I'm just saying like
No, I mean, well, I mean, it's always gonna lean towards money. You know what I mean? Everything.
no, of course. That's why like I mean I showed the games I really like. Right, I'm gonna champion those games. Like, did you hear any publication talking about Darksiders recently? No.
No, no.
Like, no one talked about Darksiders, right? You hear any publication Blasher talk about Pikmin? No one's talking about Pikmin. Okay.
Isn't everybody busy getting fired right now?
What's that?
Isn't everybody busy getting fired right now?
Exactly. That's what they're talking about. There's doom and gloom. And the reason why they're doing doom and gloom is because the game developers that are at companies, they can scare those game developers and say, like, look, it's doom and gloom. You could be fired. That's why you need to go build this game that I know you didn't come here for. But this game is wash, rinse, and repeat. That's what you're gonna do. That's dark, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
that's why the gaming media is so focused on that.
Well, if you want to go sit in a chair and be a robot all day, don't
Go
think.
do it. Go do
There
it.
easy peasy. Don't
underestimate.
Don't forget to fill out that TPS report.
Internet of Games, I'm not underestimating the human in the loop. If anything, I'm saying the human in the loop is the only thing that can get us out. This is so strange, Internet of Games. You're the one who's always championing AI. Now you're the one talking about the human in the loop. I totally agree. I'm saying the human in the loop is you. You're the one who's going to have to continue to play, the one who's going to have to continue to say, I want this type of experience. I don't like that experience. Like that is it. Because then another human will be able to be like, let me speak for that person. Let me build something for that person. I totally hear you. I'm not saying this is doom and gloom. If anything, it's like I said, a message of empowerment. That's all.
Adults shouldn't wear onesies either. I agree.
Love it. I love it. Stamp of approval. Oh my goodness. Lo-Fi, what's going on though, man?
What's going on? I've been playing Manor Lords. Tinkering around in Unreal Engine. I'm an idiot, so I don't know anything. So don't just take my word.
Lo-Fi is the reason why what is it? Microsoft, what is the company behind Microsoft that everything went down like 2 weeks ago? Strike.
We're not talking
Cloud Strike or something like. You're the reason Cloud Strike went down because you were tinkering with Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
And then it went down.
That's what they say. That's what they're trying to say. It never happened.
I'll keep spending money. Internet Games, you do that. You do it. Like I said, I'm excited. Like I said, I'm super excited about Black Myth Wukong, but I already know it's going to come after it. You know what I mean?
You're not excited for more of the same thing?
Some people would say it is the same thing. You know that? Like Silent Cypher. He's not excited about Black Myth Wukong.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Sometimes it's just fine. It's just fine, but it'll at least give me a story, like a really good story.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Like, it's a good story that I haven't seen. It's like a different music that like I'm looking forward to that. Like I don't need a movie to be like 3D for me to enjoy the movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I just but I do want something unique. And I think that the source material here is pretty unique. Like, I think like that's why I'm excited about it. I think it's the fighting with the staff, the changing into a bunch of characters, which isn't just one but multiple characters. Like, I think there's a lot of cool things in that game. I think it's gonna be deserving of game of the like. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think it's gonna be cool. I'm excited for the game.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's a double-edged sword, as they say. What is a single-edged sword, though? Have you ever thought about that? Like, what does a single-edged sword look like?
Like a
Like a saber? Like, but a sword. Like, isn't the thing a sword? Isn't it double-edged? Like, is there everything like a single edge? Like, is it a big knife? You know what I mean? Like, what is
awkward.
I'm just saying. Like, is a single-edged sword a giant knife? I don't know, maybe.
Ah,
You're like, brain explode.
yeah. Like, I don't know. First of all, why are you carrying a sword? There's guns. Like.
I'm just saying. They always say double-edged sword. It's a machete. I can believe that. All right, that makes sense. I'm just saying, we always say like double-edged sword. It's like, yeah, I get it. All swords are double. like I get it. Why do we just say it's like a sword? We have to say it's a double-edged sword.
It's a single-sided coin.
It's a single-sided coin. And I think Holt is there, but I don't know if he's still around. Oh, he is. He is. Lo-fi. All right, I'm gonna bring Holtz on real quick.
All right. Y'all have a good one. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. Cutlass, like a car. All right, here we go. Holtz, what's going on?
I was actually thinking about a single-edged sword. I'd been pondering for a bit. I was like, I know they're out there, but I couldn't name any.
A cutlass. I hear it.
I've seen them in anime and I've seen them in games, but I've never actually known the names. Like, is it the Buster Sword, single-edged sword? Because one side's sharp and the other side's flat.
Yeah. So, wouldn't that be a saber?
It's a single-sided sword. I couldn't name any. It says it's the sword. It is. Never pronounced it. If I ask Google, it'd probably give me loads of names, but I'm too lazy.
I'm just saying, it's interesting. Like, we call it a double-edged sword. Like, okay, like, yeah, a double-edged sword. Like, most swords are double-edged, but whatever.
I still want to be hit by a blunt side of a sword anyway. So a blunt side or the sharp side. So doesn't matter if it's double-edged or single-edged.
There's only one double-edged sword. Oh, that's interesting. Hold. So what's going on?
Ooh, plenty of Olympics, plenty of just sitting back playing on my handhelds. Cancelled my birthday gift because Mr. Urban World.
Why did you cancel your birthday because of Mr. Urban World?
Well, last week I was talking about the adapter for PlayStation VR 2 to play on the PC, and I was looking forward to it. Going, yeah, I'm gonna have my PSVR 2 playing these games. And after I finished Shades of Purple with you last week, he got in contact and went, "Holtz, you know the adapter doesn't let HDR pass through," and I was like, "It doesn't allow me to have HDR. Cancel." So I feel like with VR you have to have HDR.
Ah,
because especially with OLED panels, that's what makes the game beautiful in my eyes. Take away HDR from displays, games, or whatever. I think, what's the point playing them?
Interesting.
Because the way I see it is, HDR is a thing that adds a luminance. You know what I mean? So the bigger brightness and the bigger blacks. And once you've got more deeper blacks, the more way OLED works to have more vibrant colors. That's the way I understand it. So I feel like I need stuff to pop and make it look more immersive. And without that, I'm not going back to the PlayStation 3 days before the HDR. So when I wanted to plug this PSVR 2 into the PC and have this popping experience, immersive experience, and without it, I just decided to say, no point investing in it. I might as well buy a PC VR like the Quest 3.
My goodness. Spending more money.
And which this is the same, yeah. I'm one of them people who actually followed the gimmick. Well, I used to follow the gimmick, as you've seen before in Shades interviews and stuff like that. And that's why I said I was in a confused space. I'm going backwards now, going back to the days of seeing nostalgia of games that I used to love in PlayStation 3 and what worked then, instead of seeing what works now. Because all the games that I've seen now, it's a mess. It's a mess in the gaming industry.
Yeah. No, I think there's still some paths. Like, I don't want to be all doom and gloom on this one. I just want to highlight how, like, this is slow motion. Like, if you can find me the article, and I challenge chat, find me the article that talks about what I just talked about.
Like when I think about old Warner Brother games, I'd rather play them, the Batmans, the Lord of the Rings games, than ever playing anything from Warner Brothers today. You know what I mean? I'd rather talk about old Mortal Kombat than Mortal Kombat today. And I feel like that's the same with a lot of studios I can name. I can name like exclusives, like Tears of the Kingdom. I think that's just an increment step from Breath of the Wild. I think Gods of War, Ragnarok is just an increment step, a slight increment step. Spider-Man 2, I feel like they're all just small. They're not next gen. It's just, I feel like they're more like DLCs these days.
Awesome.
They could be DLCs.
And hold on, I want to give a super special shout out to someone in chat. We've actually talked on each other's videos. Everybody, Extra Life Reviews. If you've not checked out their stuff, Extra Life Reviews in the chat. He's a content creator. We kind of like the same games. We've reviewed a lot of the same games. We played a lot of the same games. He's a great content creator. So Lens of Truth above, I wanted to always highlight him. But Extra Life Review, welcome. Extra Life, we got to get you your own shades of purple too. So I'll be hitting you up on your message. Look for that in soon. But yes, Extra Life Review. If y'all have not checked it out, check out his channel. He's a really solid content creator out there. All right, Holtz. Sorry about that, Holtz. Didn't want to cut you off.
No, it's all right. But I feel like I was fatigued a long time ago before this year, should I say. I can talk about games like The Order 1886. I can talk about Azora's Wrath, Spec Ops, The Line, Wonderful 101. And I always thought they were innovative back then, but never hit mainstream because I think the audience weren't really interested in these types of games. And they were amazing games. I think hidden gems, if you can go back and play them, I recommend anyone to play them, but they just died. So I feel like a developer, all they can do is showcase a trailer, drop a demo, and it's up to us. But they can't make us spend our money. And I think if game was just go, okay, I'm happy having the rinse and repeat, the annual sports games and the Call of Duty, which are that's what all our gamers mostly care about, or of these days, the latest Fortnite season pass. Then gamers are not willing to risk. So if that's the case, developers should just go, well, let's try this model that makes money for something else, and then just lead with that.
No, I 100% agree. I think if gamers are, that's why I showcase what I like to play, right? I showcase, there's certain things I like to play. There's certain games I like to champion. You will not see a Call of Duty trailer here or a 2K game or any of those games here. I did showcase, I think, what is the game called that's coming out next year? It's really big. It's number 6 in the franchise. Kai CNET streams it a lot. Grand Theft Auto. There you go. I did show a Grand Theft Auto one, but I don't really like to show wash, rinse, and repeat. So
I had a bit of news. Speaking about the Order 1886, I actually heard a bit of news that dev actually said that they pushed that game out visually and with certain mechanics, and then they were going to do the sequel to be a jump what Assassin's Creed 2 was to Assassin's Creed 1. And Sony dropped it and said, nah, it's all right. It's not working for us. And I remember thinking, oh my God, wouldn't that be amazing? Because I love that mechanics of that game, love the story, love the visuals. And if you could offer me more scope in the second one, I was down for it, because the first one never sold. They cut it straight away. So
interesting.
I feel sorry for that dev at that time.
The Order 1886. So some people have told me I need to play this game. I'm thinking about maybe playing it.
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing, but I think it was overshadowed by Call of Duty. So a rinse and repeat title at that time.
So yeah, Extra Life Review, I totally agree. There's far more games today. I totally agree that I think that there should be that there's always a game for someone. I think my thesis or my hypothesis, man, it's totally different. I should probably figure that out. My whole thing earlier is that it's going to become even harder and harder for us to find that game. That's what I think. But push back. I outlined it the way I saw it.
I mean,
Um,
I don't have a hard time finding games. I just go on YouTube trailers, and that's how I found mine.
yeah, I think that's going to be it. I think that's going to be the case. But when you have thousands, like I said, I totally feel like if Black Myth Wukong does what I think Black Myth Wukong is going to do, it's going to that's the thing. There's just going to be such a flood of games. It's like the mobile market now. If you actually think about the mobile market, we actually haven't seen the full flood of games coming out from mobile because we have these stores, right? We have um, the Apple Store, the App Store, but there was a time that the Android store, the Play Store, what was full of just like randomness. And I'm cautious about the future of games. That's all.
I mean, I always get hyped with games, and then they fizzle out so fast. And I felt that was the same with Final Fantasy Rebirth. I felt the same with Cellblade. I felt the same with Ronin. I was excited to get them, bought them, and they just fizzled out. I wouldn't sit there and say these games are titles that I'm going to speak about in the next 10, 20 years. And maybe
Oh.
that's because I'm fatigued in the genres, should I say? There's nothing new.
Holt's there. I mean, I said like there's a reason why there's nothing new. I think there's a reason. I think the people who are very sensitive to what they like in that new experience, and that they're not the ones who are very sensitive to it are feel it. I think there's another group of people who are like just wash, rinse, and repeat. That's what they like, or that's what they're comfortable with. Then there is the group that's very broad, right? They like a lot of different games. They like it, and they're able to kind of like still feed off of a few different genres. But I think I wonder, like I said, I gave a very dark scenario. Maybe next time I'll give a very bright scenario about gaming.
I think hardware shiny object syndrome is what's pushing the gaming industry forward these days. So when something gets announced, like a new GPU, people flock to it. If the PlayStation 5 Pro comes out this year, next year, and just goes, oh, it's going to enhance visuals, people are going to run out and buy that, even though it's a slight teraflops or a slight performance increase. They're just going to run out because it's new. They're not going to run out because it offers better mechanics, better experiences, or anytime innovative games. It's just going to be visual enhancements, and that's it. They're going to run out and throw $500 at it because it's new.
Is that what we want? An Internet of Games with his toxicity, his console war statement, PlayStation stores full of crud. No, I know. Internet of Games joking. But no, maybe. Well, imagine if it's crud now. Imagine what it's going to be with 1,000 other titles. But yeah. But no, Holtz, I get it. So, Holtz, what are you playing right now? Order 1886?
Yeah, I wish I was playing the old 1886. I've got no way to play that. Got rid of my PlayStation, 4 years ago.
But you can play it on PlayStation 5, no?
Is it backwards? Is it on the store? I don't have PlayStation Plus anymore. I got rid of that subscription. Too cheap. And get rid of that. Don't need that.
But you could buy it. You could buy it again if you wanted to.
I've got it. I don't know if it's backwards compatible. I've not checked it out.
Oh, I don't know.
I
I didn't have a PlayStation 4, so anything I buy on PlayStation, I just buy.
Like I said last week, this week is just about the Olympics for me, and then once that dies down, mid-August, I will be focused on playing God of War Ragnarok, and yeah, I'll be playing that again the third time, just to compare what my rig will run at. Shiny object syndrome to the PlayStation 5. That's all I'll be doing. I'm a fool for it, should I say. I pre-ordered Black Myth Wukong.
You did. You pre-ordered it
on PlayStation 5. I said I wasn't, and then I realized I got some credit. I'm going to try it. and see, because I love Odyssey: Journey to the West, and that guy has got a character that I feel like it was before the time, so I feel like it's staff heavy story, and I think it's like Horizon, but in that world. So Horizon Zero Dawn feels similar to that. Great story
Obi
with
told me
like
I need to be and Extra Life said all PS4 games are backwards or compatible. They're compatible. I
all
get that he said all PS4 games are backwards compatible with the PS5.
yeah, I think I got it digitally, so I'll have to check it out.
Um, so yeah, so that I will say I didn't have a PS4. Um, what I'm excited about. So I'm excited. Well, we'll see. Like I said,
Well,
I think there's some hope.
I was saying a few months back on Shades of Purple that will I be fatigued this year with actually hack and slashes because there was too many Phantom Blade, Stellar Blade, Black Myth Wulong, and Wukong. Do I keep on saying? There was just loads to play, and I realised I'm stepping back. So I think Black Myth Wukong will be the last hack and slash I'm going to play this year. I want to wait
Yeah,
until games start going on sales. Should I
I
say?
think. I mean, what have I played this year? I played a lot of X Defiant. I played Prince of Persia. Black Myth Wukong probably will be my last hack and slash just because I have another Remnant 2 DLC coming out. I have Prince of Persia DLC coming out. I have Diablo 4 expansion coming out. And I have a supermassive The Casing of Frank Stone coming out. So if Black Myth Wukong comes out in August 20 something, I only have so much time to play those other four. And
And I've
and I didn't even mention I have more X Defiant.
and I've also mentioned genre fatigue before. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth actually destroyed my dreams and hopes of playing Assassin's Creed Shadow. That
I didn't
open world
even mention
mechanics,
Assassin's Creed Shadow. You're right
that
about that.
open world mechanics that felt so Ubisoft that I've seen in Assassin's Creed and Far Cry's made me go, oh, I've put so many hours in this game. I'm not going to play Assassin's Creed Shadows this year because I'm literally burnt out
My
of
good.
that
Well,
open world experience.
I'm excited about. I totally forgot about Assassin's Creed Shadows too. Like I said, I'm so. And I haven't even mentioned the Zelda game that's coming out.
Oh,
Man,
Echoes,
what's that?
the Echoes game, the one with
Yeah,
Zelda.
just because the story, like we have Zelda, we have Zelda lore, not the franchise, but like actually Zelda. And recently, well, I guess not recently, but since Ocarina of Time, they've kind of made her um, more than the damsel in distress. And I would like to really see her full character, um, more so than the one where she's like troubled and trying to
Well, that's why I love
use
Hyrule
their
Warriors.
powers. Hyrule Warriors was so good, but they told me like that I got in so much trouble on Rudix's channel because they were like Hyrule Warriors is not Zelda franchise canon.
No, it doesn't matter if it's not. To me, it is canon. It's in a story in an opposite timeline, should I say? That's the way I see it. It's just some different timeline, different universe experience. But what I love is you can pick a character, and each character seems to have a bit of a slice of the story. It's not just Link. So I feel like if my champion or my hero is Mifa or Zelda or some, I can play them, and I feel like they can complete the whole story like that.
I loved I really do like Hyrule Warriors. I like how it ended. I like how that was like a complete story. I like how you got a little bit about each of the relationship between the warriors,
Hmm.
right? Like that you take Zelda, you take Link out of it, and you kind of understand why Mifa and another
Mifa's,
character.
Mifa's my favorite. Mifa's my favorite character.
I think Minfa is such a because of her loyalty to what I like about Minfa. Guys, we're gonna nerd out about some Zelda here. Sorry, if you don't like Zelda, I apologize, but Holt and I have to do that. There's not too many in our community that we can nerd out about this. But what I like about Minfa is like obviously she's a mom, she's a warrior, but she still has like that for her son's side on, right? Like she's still like she's doing a lot for her son. So I really appreciate that from Minfa.
And I just love that, like even though you're in the game, you can choose the champions, you can choose the new champions, the old champions, you can actually, and all cat supporting characters from the Zelda franchise. So if you feel like you're left out from characters from Breath of the Wild, you can also play different takes, and that's what I love about it.
You can play
It doesn't matter if timelines are all wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. I just feel like it's just amazing just to have these characters and just beat the crap out of these
no,
enemies.
the army, like I said, it's probably the strongest Link, like the actual Link, like, I actually felt that that Link could, like, win a war, right? And to your point, like, playing there's more than just the characters you can play. Obviously, my favorite character to play is, oh my goodness, I can't think of her name right now. She's like Princess Zelda's friend. She's like the ninja chick. I'll think of it. I can't think of it at the moment. She's my favorite to play on in that game.
Impa.
Impa! Yes, I cannot think of her name. Can't think of her name. Impa. She's my favorite.
See, what I love about Hero Warriors is that you automatically think Link's going to be the best. It depends. And as the levels get harder and harder, you realize you have to rely on other characters'
You have to level up the
abilities
other
and
characters.
area attacks, and you realize, and you go, bloody hell, that attack's so great. Yeah, and you realize when the combos come in, you go, oh, I don't like that combo attack, but you get so used to it. And then when you see the destruction, like what Zelda does, you go, bloody hell, Link, you better start leveling up because Zelda, the girl,
Zelda.
the princess, should I say, just destroying everyone.
No, I mean, they're all unique. If y'all have not played Hyrule Warriors, if you have not played a Warriors game, shout out to Extra Life there, but for giving it its due. But Warriors games are fun. You just beat up a ton of stuff. But the specifically the Hyrule Warriors game, Age of Calamity, is a really good story. Like the way they pieced it together. To Holtz's point, it takes place in like an alternate. It takes place kind of like where Breath of the Wild, it's in that whole timeline, and there's like some crazy stuff that goes on, but it's actually super cool because it if you play Breath of the Wild takes place after this great war, and I'm not ruining the story here, but in Breath of the Wild, like Ganon has won. Like this is after Ganon has won, is where Breath of the Wild takes place. In Age of Calamity, it takes place like you actually see the war as it's unfolding.
Well, why I sit in and believe it is canon is because I feel like there was this point in time decades ago when Zelda games did actually branch off in different time realms, should I say, or different worlds, and that's why I went, okay, I can just believe this happens in one realm, and this is the story I'm following. So I believe it is canon in that universe, should I say?
And Holt, I want to show something to the chat really quick. Keep them talking. Keep talking to chat.
And it's just amazing. There's something good about just running into a crowd of these enemies and then just like slightly dodging and doing this whirlwind attack, and it just makes you feel these characters are powerful, the enemies are powerful, and it's not the same thing as when you play the baseline game of just slash run away, drink a potion. This I just think it's more epic. It's
Yes.
fast.
And
It's
Holt, I showed you all some of my comics a few weeks ago. I do want to show one of my favorite things that I've kept actually in the cover. But this is actually something I got recently from someone very special. It is like the entire encyclopedia of Zelda. It's like it's like the Legend of Zelda encyclopedia. So yes,
I've got that digitally.
you do. Well, I have it in hard copy.
I've got it digitally because I'm lazy. Don't want clutter. But I've also got the art of Legend of Zelda, and there's a few, isn't it? There's a few books from the Zelda franchise that you can buy book-wise.
It's in. Oh, there he goes. Lens of Truth. Oh, we got some. Lens of Truth. We got Extra Life. Yes, Zelda's where it is at. Obviously, I have it in my room over there. Got a little Zelda on the wall. Got a
I've got
Zelda back there.
I've got amiibos and I've got little bobbleheads.
I gotta talk about it because to Internet of Games, he was like, "There's innovation. There is one bright spot, right? There's one company that if they are the number one gaming company, video game and otherwise, that I think has ever existed, and if there's one company that will buck the trend just because they do it all the time, it's Nintendo."
Mhm.
Now, don't get me wrong, like Nintendo does have its issues. I don't want to make it seem like Nintendo does not have its issues, right? But
Oh, you feel sorry for Nintendo because, like I said, what you're saying, they're very innovative in certain ways, but then when you play games like Arms and Switch 1, 2, and sometimes you think to yourself, "Oh, I don't want to play this game." But
yeah,
you can get behind the idea of like the Joy-Con swing and punching, but that's not for me.
no, I like I said, I feel like Nintendo actually, because they are purely a gaming company, right? They there is still enough magic there that they're going to go kicking and screaming down this wash, rinse, and repeat world that I talked about. You know what I mean? Like I um I fully believe that's like why I champion them, is because I still think they have simple formulas, but there's a lot you can do with a simple formula to make it innovative.
Well,
And like I bought Luigi Mansion 2 HD today, and I was like, man, this game's beautiful. I never
speaking
played
of
it.
speaking of innovative and speaking about Zelda, I love back in the Wii days where you had the nunchuck and you had the Wii-Con.
Hmm.
I loved walking around slashing like a Link. Remember we used to wind the nunchuck up like a shield?
I didn't.
Or
I wasn't gaming back then. I need to
oh,
play.
I would constantly walking around going charging, slash, 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 stab, stab, slice, slice. It was amazing. And another one that I played, Okanami, we had to you had to draw the paint styles to do attacks, and I thought that was so amazing. And my friends like, "Isn't that stupid?" And I was like, "No, it's not amazing." Felt so engrossed in the game by playing like that, but sadly, they changed the mechanics.
Oh no. Well, look, Switch 2, y'all know what I said. I believe it's going to come out next month. I wouldn't be surprised if it bleeds into October, but I
If
believe
you
it's going to come out to next month.
the
Or
announcement,
not. They're
the
going to
announcement,
announce it. The
yeah,
announcement. I
that's
believe the
what's
announcement
important.
will be next month, but it could be in October.
I would really love it to come out in October, just the first wave, ready for the fans that want it. But
Well, I
it's going
think
to
they're going to announce it. I don't think
start
it's going
really
to
fast.
come. I mean, I'd be surprised if it's here this holiday season, but yeah, games to me is that they never lower in price. This is true. This is true. They do not lower in price.
And I think that's a great
Well,
testimony to Nintendo not lowering price because I feel like it has the seal of approval, should I say, quality wise.
that's what some people would say, like, let's look at the Pokemon company, right? They don't necessarily have always the seal of approval, right?
I've really enjoyed every single Pokemon game, should I say?
So you were a fan of Scarlet and Nexus and all those.
Hmm. I know. There's a few things that I have a problem with, but I really enjoyed them. I did put 100 hours in every single Pokemon.
That's interesting. I wonder, do you think there's ever been I'm trying to think, and y'all who've played Nintendo, has there been recently an overhyped Nintendo game?
Overhyped.
Like, if you like it, right? Like, some would probably say Tears of the Kingdom, but I think Tears of the Kingdom delivered on what Tears of the Kingdom had to deliver on.
Well, it's the eye of the beholder again, isn't it? So when I mentioned I like Pokemon and I've put 100 hours in it, people could say, "Oh, it wasn't that good," but I'll go, "Oh, the open world experience, the new level of fight mechanics, the art style." They go, "Oh yeah, well, it's not for me." And I'm like, "Okay, it's fair dues." Someone could say that about Zelda. Someone could say that about what franchises should I say? Mario, Luigi. I love them all.
No, like, I'm trying to think, like, because like, I can look at other, like, I think Nintendo, to your point, so we're talking about gaming, right? One of my statements earlier is the games industry is delivering less for more. right? And the examples I used were subscription services. I used wash, rinse, and repeat games. Um, I could probably look at like some of the games that have just seasons onto seasons onto seasons that aren't really that great. But I'm trying to think, has Nintendo, even though they have a high price, but they've always had a high price, right? They've always either been 50, now they're $60. Has Nintendo ever under delivered? Did we ever think Nintendo has ripped us off for what they provided?
Well, as a Nintendo fan, I don't think they have, but I feel like that if a Nintendo game gets a 9 out of 10, I don't feel that's in the same ballpark to a lot of fans from other
Stars.
consoles. So if a Zelda gets 9 out of 10, a PlayStation fan will go, "That means a 4 out of 10 in every other console space," and you go, "That's unfair. That's totally unfair." So the
So
under
maybe,
deliver on other console players, but to me, I feel like as a Nintendo fan, I feel like they've hit the mark on a lot of genres, should I say.
yeah, and I think Nintendo knows their audience, right? Nintendo knows the audience it has, um, which I give them credit for. Um,
I liked it, but I feel like sales-wise, I think Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I think that was hyped up really well, and
is
then
what that a
it
Ubisoft? Isn't that a
yeah,
Ubisoft collaboration?
Ubisoft, and they fizzled fast.
Ubisoft collaboration?
Mhm. But, the Mario Rabbids, the first one was really great, and I really like Sparks Hope, so I feel like when you've seen it in the game marketing space, it was advertised well and fans were reacting, and then when it came out, it just fizzled.
Yeah. Shout out to Winstar. Win easy. What's going on to my fellow veteran Winstar? Splatoon 2. Simpleton thought they underdelivered for Splatoon 2.
I love Splatoon. Nah, I don't think they've done delivered there.
Oh, you gave him the you gave him such a look right there.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
wow.
sitting there thinking, yeah,
Splatoon. Oh wow.
and like
Um
like I mentioned before, ARMS. I think ARMS undelivered, Switch 1, 2 undelivered. Um, I love Fire Emblem, but I feel like the sales for the franchise is not as big as I would believe Fire Emblem is. So I wouldn't say the underdelivered because I really love the games, but if someone looks from the outside in, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm not a Fire Emblem player. There's a
I mean,
lot
I've
of
got
games I'm not like I said, I'm a Pikmin fan, I'm a Zelda fan. I need to play uh the Metroid that came out in 2019 because everybody's telling me that that's potentially a better Metroidvania than Prince of Persia, which I'm like, yo, I put Prince of Persia as my number one Metroidvania of all time. This is above Ori. So if you're telling me that that's better, like I've never played it, so
no, I'm terrible following my favorite characters and jumping across genres. So if someone could sit there and say Fire Emblem hack and slash, then move to FTS, RTS. I follow it all the time. Fighting games. I always jump to that genre because I'm so happy to follow the characters and the stories and the relationships that's already been established.
oh,
So like if I play Persona, which is RPG, then a fighting game comes out or a dance game comes out, a rhythm and dance game, I always buy it.
wow. Oh, well, of course you're always gonna revive rhythm and dance games.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your that's
Yeah,
all holds there. DDR.
yeah.
My goodness, DDR. No, I think there's we'll see. I so Extra Life Reviews is saying Q1 in 2025. I think they said by Q1 2025. I think that's when they will launch it. I think they're gonna announce it. We'll see. We'll see. Um, that's the big mystery out there with Nintendo.
I mean, I
Um,
was saying this last time, like if Mario came out as a hero shooter with
Nintendo
all the
Switch Sports.
characters and came out, I'll definitely buy that as well.
If Mario what?
Came out as a hero shooter.
I don't think they would ever do that. But again, if you had asked me, I don't think they would ever done Smash Brothers either. But they did it. Um, wow, Mario Brothers as a hero shooter.
They've got all the characters, haven't they?
Man, they could do it. Because like that's essentially what Ubisoft has done with X Defiant, which again I love X Defiant if I have not mentioned that. Um, that would be cool. A hero shooter with Nintendo franchises. You could definitely do that. Like, because obviously you've done a fighting game with Smash Brothers, but a hero shooter?
And bring like quick accessories, so you can bring Luigi's Hoover in. You could bring Square from Mario Sunshine. Just have like these little extra things that let you traverse the world, like stuff like that. Playing the nostalgia factor, should I say?
And here's what Internet of Games is saying. How long can Switch hold out against mobile, though? Will there be a Switch 3? Yes. Here's my logic, Internet of Games, with that. Because I think company missions mean something, and especially for Nintendo. And off the top of my head, I believe Nintendo's mission is to bring a smile to everyone we touch. Please fact check me on that. I believe theirs is to bring a smile to everyone we touch. And I feel like that is very intentional. Watch, I'll be like, no, purple. It's like to make everything fun. But I believe it's to bring a smile to everything we touch, to everyone we touch. And the reason why I believe mobile, why they will hold out, is because I believe it is so important to Nintendo that they control the entire experience. Like Nintendo's not going to put it on PC because they want you to touch their experience, not what Xbox is doing, right? That's what I
Well,
believe.
well, 8 years ago, I thought mobile was going to be so dominant that was going to impact all these consoles, especially the Switch. And now I look back, I think to myself, Switch has done its own thing away from mobile and created all these franchises and stuff like that. And I feel like mobile is still growing, but I don't know anyone that plays mobile. My nieces and nephews, they're like what, 5 till 8, 10, and they don't even play mobile games. They'll rather
Yeah.
play they'll rather play Roblox and Minecraft and Fortnite on their PlayStations or Switches. They don't even touch a mobile phone.
Yeah, I think mobile had its the people who play in here extra life for your it's to put smiles on the faces of everyone touch. Okay, so I was close. I was close. I think I missed a couple of words there. But yeah. Um no, I
But
think mobile, you know who plays mobile a lot? I always see this. It's like where purple's gonna be in like 5 years. Women 55 years and over. Like I see when I'm on the subway, these women are always playing Wordle or this other like Connect 3 game with the bear. I don't know what it is, but they're always playing this game. So yeah.
I didn't
So
play
yeah,
Sudoku.
huh,
I didn't play
some of
Sudoku on a phone.
you can, but they're playing Wordle. I think that's like the game that they're all like. Like 1 out of 2 times I'll talk to a woman and she's like, "Oh, I play games," and she'll pull out Wordle and she has like a streak of like 500 and something. It's ridiculous.
See, I
Like,
wouldn't class. I know it is a game. I know it's an application, but I wouldn't sit there and say it was a game. Like my dad pulled out a word search and said, "This is a game." I'd be like, "No, it's not a game, buddy." But
it's a puzzle.
it's a puzzle, isn't it? It's a
It's
puzzle.
a puzzle. It's
It's a
not a game.
puzzle game, isn't it? I'm just trying to say if you played that, if you played a word search on a mobile phone, I wouldn't sit there and say it was a game.
Let's see what it is. A hyper realistic first person story driven game line become human, but with Mario characters. Become human. That's a lot of people are playing Become Human. I just see this on when I'm on Twitch or YouTube. I see Become Human. A lot of the people,
Wasn't Becoming Human an old game?
Or is it Detroit Become Human?
Detroit Become Human wasn't that an old game? PlayStation
But I
3.
think there's another game with something human. There's another game that I keep seeing people play human. It's something human. Mobiles play AAA games now. Internet of Games. Like I love Internet of Games.
My brain's like humanity, destroy all humans, and my brain's
No,
like,
it's
what?
Become Human. I'm telling you, there's a game right now, Become Human. No, it's not Detroit Become Human. There's a different game with the word human in it. I know I've seen it. If I go to Twitch right now, it'll show up.
Nah, I don't want games to represent me. I'm already human enough. Become AI. That might be a seller for me.
Now I'm kind of like, what's this chick's name? She's in Australia. She's the one I always follow. She's playing this game right now. I can't remember her name. But yeah, that chick who I can't remember her name, who's in Australia,
Yeah,
she plays
we all know that chick. The
that
chick,
chick.
the
She's a
chick plays
model.
that
She's
game.
like, she's in her 30s. I respect her. And she's in Australia and she plays this game and it has the word human in it. And I can't
Is she a
remember.
3D model? I don't know what model she is.
Hey, Jenna Hayes. Look at Jenna. It's cousin. Cousin Jenna. How are you, Jenna? Once human. Yes. Once human is the one I was thinking of. I don't know it.
Is one
I see
human?
her
So
playing it.
this is a mobile game.
Alana Pierce. Who's Alana Pierce?
Alana Pierce is the girl who left IGN.
Hmm.
She's Australian. She does her own take on games.
No, this one isn't Alana Pierce.
She
She's
works
like,
for Sony now, I think. Last time I checked.
this isn't her. I would recognize that name. This chick's name is, oh my goodness. I'm so, she always is, she's always streaming right before I leave for work. So yeah, Wordle sounds like a Pokemon. I bet you it is a Pokemon. But
It's in
yeah,
between a Wartail and a Squirtle.
what's that?
Wordle.
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 Alana Pierce.
It's a Squirtle and a Wartail in between.
Who's this Alana Pierce chick? Now it's, is this the chick I'm thinking of? No, this is not the chick I'm thinking of. Not her. Y'all are gonna really make me figure out who this person is that I was talking about. What did y'all say it's called? Zara Games. How did you know? That's exactly who it is. Zara Games. Jeez, this chat is crazy. Jenna Hayes off the top rope. Zara Games is exactly who I'm talking about. She's playing Become Human or whatever the game. Once Human.
Once Human.
I don't know why that came. She's been playing that and I watch her play it. But like I said, I've been playing X Defiant.
What's the overview of this game? Once Human.
I don't know what it is. She started playing it. She was playing Elden Ring. And I was watching her play Elden Ring. And I like her too because she also has like a deep voice like me sometimes. And so but yeah, she was like playing it. And I actually haven't really been watching her recently play it, but she's been playing it. That's all I got.
What
And then
genre?
I found $20. What's that?
What genre?
It's like a shooter, no, y'all? I think it's like a shooter. I don't know. I should interview her. Once Human is like 7 days to die, sort of. So Once Human. Oh, so what is 7 days to die? I don't know anything about games.
See, you're getting me in now, chat. I'm like 7 days to die. I've heard of that, but I've not played it.
Yeah, I know. I tried X time, but it takes like 5 minutes to get in a game. WinStar, you have to play on controller. Play on
Once Human,
controller. Do not do
Whoa.
mouse and keyboard with X Defiant. Play on controller, and you'll find a game like that. Like
I thought I was playing cool games, but now all these people are streaming, making the money, making the numbers. I'm like, no.
yeah, and she is Malaysian. She is. I remember that because I have a friend from Malaysia. And when she said that, it made sense. Yep, Jenna Hayes off with the. That's so right because she's not super huge. Like she's bigger than me, but she's not like Jenna Marbles or someone like that. Jenna Marbles doesn't even play games, but you get what I'm saying.
You could have told me that, and I would still believe she's played games, even though she didn't.
Who, Jenna Marbles?
Yeah, I would have been like, yeah, I know that. Yeah.
I mean, I remember Jenna Marbles from like way back. I don't think she makes videos anymore. But yeah, so that's it. If y'all want to go check out something like in 12 hours from now, 10 hours from now, Zara plays games. She streams for like 6 hours. I do not have that type of endurance. And in any activity.
I would have to watch it in 4 times the speed.
What's that?
I would have to watch it 4 times the speed.
Oh, to try to. No, she does. I mean, she's pretty cool. I like her commentary. She also engages chat.
If I watch someone for 6 hours, you have to complete the game for me. That's how dedicated it has to be.
She beats it for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's the point in it. I'll follow you through all the story, but I won't touch the game myself. You finish it for me.
She does a good job. I mean, she did it with Elden Ring. Like, she's a gamer. She's a
Because
gamer. Like, I realize I'm not as good of a gamer as some of these people.
usually when I watch streamers for that long, it's usually franchises of games that I've already finished, so I can sort of cheer and watch a different take of games. Or it's a game that I'm gonna buy, and I put an hour and two watching them, but I couldn't watch someone for a duration of the whole game.
No, well, that one she did for like 2 weeks and she beat it. And Windstar, if you have a PlayStation, um, just play it on PlayStation. But yeah, play it on controller. It's way better. Like the game is optimized for a controller, kind of how Valorant is optimized for PC. X Define is optimized for a controller, and there's always people on it. Windsor, yeah, if y'all want to follow her, she's cool. I mean, as long as she's cool. Like I like her stuff. She's kind of like cuz she's a woman. Like there's gamer chicks, y'all, and then there's like women. And most of the gamer chicks are actually women, but some of them try to pretend like they're like a lot younger than they are. But she's like actually like a woman. So I
So ageist, so ageist. Like, what's a woman in gaming? What age
No,
are we talking
I'm
about?
just saying there's like when I see like Miss Tracy, she's mature, right? Like I
Ah,
like watching Miss Tracy. Like Meg is still kind of young. Well, kind of young. But you know, like I like Meg. But there's other ones who are like I'm going to steal a word from the United States political scene right now. Others are just kind of weird. And and I would say like the chick Zara is like kind of like I relate to her, you know?
so all these women gamers on the bus and the coaches playing Wordle, are they trying to be gamer girls, or are they actually just mature enough to play that game?
Oh, the Wordle crew?
Yeah,
Oh
are they
no, the
trying to be?
Wordle crew is a
Are they
totally
trying to be?
different crew.
Are they trying to be younger gamer girls, is that the
No,
case?
no, no, no. The Wordle crew is like totally different. Like these are like legit like women who've aged like fine wine is what I would tell them.
I wonder if like there's a retirement bunch of women out there that go, well, no use women and gamer girls. I remember being the OG.
I
Like that.
bet you they are. I bet you they are. They're out there. I'm telling you. It's like one out of every two women who I run into like over the age of like 55 are playing Wordle. 60 maybe. Like that is the mobile game. That is the community.
Okay, so what is it a go?
Mega's mid-30s? No.
Is it a go-to game that you would say that men play on a bus or coach, train?
Meg is not mid-30s. Say that again. Holtz.
Is there any type of game that certain men play that you see at an
Men
older
play what
age?
we're playing. Men play Call of Duty and whatever Project Storm is playing.
I mean, 55 on a bus.
Stereotypical like what dudes would play. And
So
they're
I'm saying 55 on a bus, coach, train. Do you actually see men play?
55
Well,
and above? No.
yeah.
No. They uh, they don't their bladders can't. They have to go use the
Yeah.
restroom in between.
Okay.
Like once men get too old, like they're always like, I gotta go to the restroom. And Jenna Hayes, so the story behind Black Myth Wukong, I'm super excited. I played the trailer earlier, like the one that just recently dropped. However, I'm also really nervous because I believe it's gonna do amazing. It totally deserves it. It's gonna get a lot of hype, and what you're gonna have is a lot of Chinese developers and wannabe developers just flood the market with low quality games. And I think this is by design. That's the whole thing with Black Myth. I talked about it earlier. Football. Meg is okay. I saw a friend of mine do a cosplay the other day, and it was outside of her playing age, and you can't say anything though, can you? Oh no.
What do you mean outside their playing
Yeah,
age?
that's what I was about to say. Like, what do you
What was
mean?
the
Like,
cause?
was
Come on,
she trying to be like baby Link? Like, what are we
what,
trying to get?
what was the cosplay? Chat scared me now. I
Yeah,
feel
what
like
was the cosplay here? Internet of Games. Like, I could understand if you're like, oh, she's like, or was she? Are you trying to say she was trying to do cosplay in an outfit that was not age appropriate. Like she was trying to do Stellar Blade or something. Like, which one are we think? My 6-year-old dad plays 8-ball pool on occasion, so maybe that's what. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They play games like that. Um,
So anything
you
ball
know,
related.
but I don't think they're serious gamer. I feel like they're like, get this away from me and stuff like that. You know, their games are like, how can I take a nap without anybody noticing? Stuff like that. I like weird simpleton. It seems like Chinese know how to use Unreal Engine 5 better than the West.
I am the oldest gamer I know, and I'm only 38. My friends are dropped out of gaming. I don't know any
You
older
know,
older men.
Clive and Rock, they're both 50,
Yeah,
6,
I mean,
57.
in IRL, I know they play games, but I'm trying to say in IRL, I don't see anyone on buses, trains.
I will say I know like actual video games. I know none of my female friends in my age range play. I know women who play, but they're all under 30. But once they get like in their 30s, I don't know a lot of like 30s, 40s, and up in my 50s. No.
See, I don't know how these women are still playing games at 55 on transport. Because every time I pull out my phone, Switch or Steam Deck, if I'm trying to look at the screen and I'm wobbling, it throws me off because the motion of the vehicle. So I just
Oh yeah.
always keep my technology in my back pocket and then wait until I'm actually in a building, a room.
So hold on. What I'm going to tell you is what they tell me in X Defiant when I complain about something in shooting. Sounds like a skill issue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, I know.
That's what they tell me. They always tell me, that's a skill issue. That's my thing now. It's a skill issue. Have you played Final? No, I have not. I've never played a Final Fantasy game. Uh, look like Madam M. Who's Madam M?
So
I feel like Jenna. Who's Madam M?
is the skill abilities that I can get to add stability and stuff like that to help me with my disadvantage in my skill?
Yeah. What? Hold. I feel like you did something really, really. Wait. Say that again.
Is there a skill ability that I can get in these games to help me with my lack of skill? So they said saying, "Stop complaining. Can I only unlock a perk that says
Yeah, you
stability?"
have to keep playing.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Skill issue. Get good.
I'm not gonna waste my time on transport just to pretend to be good so I can play X
Get
Defiant.
good.
Yeah, get good.
Get good. You know how many times people come off at the end of a match, especially when we lost, especially one that I'm not the reason we lost? There's so many little sayings I have now when they come off the match. The best is like, I have to carry the team. I heard like a little 8-year-old come off the mic and say, I have to carry this blink blink team again. And he was like 2 and 24. I was like,
Now, I see, since Killzone 2 came out back in the day, I can't stand kill death ratios. I've moved past kill death ratios. I'm more of a support player, so I'll be your medic. I'll be giving you ammunition. I'll be the one that will be picking you up, respawning you, capturing the flag. That's how I play. So I want to be rewarded with all the abilities and skills the way I play. I'm not the type of gamer that runs out now and actually kills.
well, Holtz, we have a place for you on our team. Okay, so the cool thing about X Defiant, and I'm gonna geek out, and I realize we're pretty late, y'all. So I'm gonna probably try to wrap this one up in the next 5 minutes. The X Defiant's a hero shooter, so everybody has certain abilities, and there is Libertad. So there's 3 characters from Far Cry 6, and their faction is known as Libertad, and they're all about healing. And just so you know, there actually is a mode in X Defiant called Capture the Flag.
Well, you wouldn't want me to be a medic now because I'll actually run up to your purple when you fell down. I'll be giving you, medical health, and I'll be going to your purple. You have to get better at this. Stop being a bullet sponge, and then I'll run off. Just wind you up. Stop getting shot, will you? Just run off.
You'll be surprised at how many players actually do that. There's lots of players who you're like, I'm in a gunfight and they're right there, and I'm like, okay, it's 2-on-1, but they don't want to engage the enemy. They just want to run the other way, and I'm like,
Did you
what
ever
the heck
play
are you
that games
doing?
like Gears of War?
Did I ever play games? I have played Gears of War. I thought that was an overrated game. Gears
like
of War 5.
when sort of you collapse on the floor and you go to your teammate, come on, pick me up, and you slowly edge into them, going quick.
Oh yes, you go.
And because they're too busy killing the locust, you're like, no, quick, I need to be picked up because someone's gonna you chainsaw you, and it's game over. And you go to your friends. I did shout you time and time again, and you were too busy. You need to focus. But it's
Oh
my
my
fault that I
goodness,
fell down.
Gears. There's another one. Another one of my favorite games of all time. Outriders is like that.
The best game for co-op and stuff like Army of Two. That was
Army of Two for co-op? Better than Outriders? Better than Remnant?
that was where you have to get aggro, and then you and your player would actually have certain ways to complete the level, and you would support each other and have different weapons, and you just go in. It was really good.
Yeah. And Rouster, we're gonna probably finish it up in the next 3 minutes here. Just because I had so much fun talking about Nintendo. It wasn't in the what do we call it? The speaker notes, the show notes.
Did you try me trick that I said to you a few weeks back about Nintendo players? Did you walk in and go? Did you try it? That's I swear to God, that's how I find them. It's like a ping.
No, I haven't tried it. I do need to go into the Nintendo store in New York is pretty cool. Did you go to the Nintendo store when you were here in New York?
No, I never had time. I wanted to.
Oh my
I
goodness.
said to you we should cosplay and turn up, and you said like you'd play what's the name? Ouroboros? That's not Ouroboros. Ourobosa?
Oh my god. Barbosa?
Barbosa. And I said, yeah, I'll dress up as Link. You do that. We go to and too busy, too tired.
Barbosa's my girl.
Yeah.
But Impa's my girl in the game. And here you go. Says some Dead by Daylight killer, 18 to 25. She's 30 to 35. That's not too bad. That's not too off. If you're telling me Meg is in her mid 30s, I did not know Meg was in her mid 30s. Someone told me, I thought Meg told me she was like in her early 20s when I first was playing Rainbow Six with her. So that's crazy.
I learned never to ask women their age. Never. So you could be you could be 20, early 20s, 55. I'm not going to ask. But now I see you play Wordle, I know how old you are.
Oh yeah, if she plays no. She has to play Wordle, and she has to have like you got to ask her what her streak is. And if she has her streak down in her, and she's gonna be like, oh, and if she acts like she doesn't, she's like, I don't know, something like 400 or something. She says something like that, she's old. Like a younger chick doesn't have that much. She's gonna break her streak. She's not gonna play that game that much.
What's
But
a high
older
streak?
one?
What's a high streak?
And Wordle?
Yeah.
I don't know. They get up there. Like they have they go way up. That's all I know. Like I don't play Wordle because like I think my longest streak is like 5, and then I forgot to play the game. It's like watering a plant. Like
So first
who
it
remembers
goes
to
to
do that?
certain age, 20 to 55, where it's kill death ratio and stuff like that, and then it's streak when you're 55 plus.
That's where they get. Imagine if they started playing Call of Duty and they count your streaks.
They do, yeah.
Gears 5 is actually the opposite. I've seen a lot of hate for that game. I didn't like Gears 5. I could not like coming from Outriders to play Gears 5. I was like, why is everybody loving this game?
I did like Gears 5.
Gears 5. No, Outriders was way better than Gears 5. Like Gears 5, it's like they have the same they have the same abilities. It's only you're like running around half the time. You're like, where am I trying to go?
Do you know what I love games
don't
about?
know.
Do you know what I love about games now, right? And I'm talking about Ghost of Tsushima, Gears 5, Assassin's Creed, but from Origins. These days, I just love sometimes just putting a pin in the a marker on the map and just pressing auto run, and it just runs to the marker. I love them games. I haven't got time to explore. So if I can just go off to the story marker, I love that.
And that's why we have wash and repent. Watch, rinse, and repeat, y'all.
Rush,
Wash,
rinse.
rinse. All right, Holtz. What's going on? What do you have going up? I gotta shut this one down.
So I said this, the Olympics, I'll be cheering that on till next week. I'll be focusing on God of War within about, I think, the mid-August it comes out, and it'll be Black Myth Wukong. Wukong.
Wukong. And for me, y'all know that this weekend I may be doing this weird thing with Fall Guys and what's Fortnite. I've never played Fortnite, so I may be doing this weird thing with Fall Guys and Fortnite with Jeff and some other people, SPG and some other people. Y'all are more than free to come. Y'all know I stream at 8 p.m. on Sundays. We may do something on Saturday. I don't know. I will most likely be finishing Zal, Tales of Kanzara. About halfway through with that one. And then maybe starting like a horror game on Sundays. I don't know. And then obviously, I told you the 20th is such a big day for me, right? I got 2 trailers that I'm looking forward to. And then I also have Black Myth Wukong. So that's what I'll be doing. That's what I'll be doing. And then always, 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 always. If you have a Ubisoft account, you can find me on X Defiant, like every night. Every night. You can find me on X Defiant. If you need the game, let me know. I can get it to you for free. But yes, just let me know.
I mean,
All right.
Emma, if you haven't got the skills to play it, it's your fault.
It's your fault. Get good. Sounds like a skill issue. You're not that guy. I have so many sayings that I've gotten from these kids. Like, I feel young. I'm like,
I feel young.
I feel young. I have so many sayings. All right, y'all. Take care. As always, I don't care where you game, how you game, what you game on, why you game. As long as you're gaming, you're good with me. And as always, this is Purple Haze, and the proof is in the plane. Thank you all so much for coming by, and peace. And always, just have a great day, great night, great morning. All right, later, y'all. Let me get this straight. Bye.